time. Kind of one time. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel AvgJoeWatchReviews, where we do more than just reviews. If you're new to the channel, this is the first time viewing, my name is Average Joe. I want to welcome you to the Average Joe family. Please hit a like for this video. That is the most charitable way to help support Average Joe Watch Reviews. So today we're talking about Microbrand watches. What is a microbrand? Well, in a nutshell, it's typically a smaller company. They don't really have the infrastructure that a Seiko or a Bulwark would have, and it's usually low production, so therefore limited quantities of watches. They typically get started on Kickstarter campaigns, and they are a direct source to the consumer, so they don't have boutiques, so definitely cuts out the middleman and helps to reduce price. So there's your basically your 20-second definition of a microbrand watch. So you're probably wondering, Average Joe, you have a lot of microbrands on your channel, you collaborate with a lot of microbrands, and you actually have good relationships with a lot of the owners, and that is definitely true. And you'll definitely want to stay tuned for my next video, which is 5 reasons to buy a microbrand watch. But in this video, I want to give you guys a realistic expectation of what a microbrand watch is and some of the pitfalls that you could run into when looking at a microbrand watch. So with no further ado, let's just dive on into the 5 reasons you may want to avoid buying a microbrand watch. All right, so the number 1 reason to avoid buying a microbrand watch is the possibility of getting a rebranded watch from AliExpress, for instance. Now, I actually have indirect experience and actually know of a company that has done this. I will not mention them here because I don't do that on this channel, but I can assure you that this does occur and you need to be careful. So what happens is a quote-unquote company, I hate to use company because to me, these are just scammers. What they do is they just buy a really affordable watch on AliExpress. And a lot of times you can buy these watches for $10 to $20, right? And then what they do is they take their branded logo and they slap it on their watches. They run a Kickstarter campaign. They get a bunch of support from you guys and they sell the watch for a couple $100 for a massive profit. So really want to be careful. Do your due diligence. Just because the masses are buying into it doesn't mean that it's legit. So definitely do your own homework and make sure that you're getting a watch that is legit. Number 2 reason to avoid microbrand watches would be the resale and depreciation. Now, all watches, except Rolex, pretty much. Now, I am being a little facetious here, but typically, any watch that you buy is going to have a depreciation. You know, my Omega back here, you know, luxury brands, typically, any brand is going to have depreciation. But microbrands seem to depreciate at a much more rapid pace than the major brands. So for instance, if you were to buy a Seiko and I don't know, you wore it for a few months, but it was still in decent condition, you could pretty much get your money back for the watch, if not lose a little bit of money. But if you buy a microbrand, once you take it home and take the wrappings off, you're already probably going to eat about 50% of that depreciation right away, just like that. And I've experienced this myself. So you definitely don't want to buy a microbrand if you have a plan on selling this watch, okay? So that's reason number 2 to avoid buying a microbrand watch. Number 3 is the fact that you're buying from a small company. So you're not going to a boutique, so you don't know how the watch wears on the wrist. You don't know how it's going to fit on the wrist. So if you do take it home, and you're buying from a small company, you really want to be careful because you might be left eating the cost of the watch if you're not careful. And if they don't have a good warranty, which is another thing you want to definitely take a look at. But also, as I said, the depreciation and resale is really not there. So if you did bring it home and you wore it on the wrist for a while, good luck. I mean, you're not going to be able to send it back, right? So boutiques do have their place, and their place is by trying watches on. So by cutting out the middleman with the small company, you are really kind of blindly looking at these watches. Now, watch reviewers like myself, we review these watches prior to them being in production so that it does give you guys a little bit of support and help to see how the watch fits and whatnot. But it's not the same as you guys actually feeling, touching, and maybe in some cases smelling the watch. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what you guys are into, but on a serious note, seriously, like, that could be an issue for you. So the other thing about a small company is history. What are the reviews? Especially these Kickstarter companies that are just starting out, they have no history. There's no reviews. There's no, you don't know how their customer service is. You don't know anything about this company. All you know is you like the watch and it looks good and you want it on your wrist. So being a small company can be a huge negative if you're not careful. And in a lot of cases, these Kickstarter campaigns, you really are playing Russian roulette. But here's the other thing. If you didn't like the watch and you didn't take it out of its wrappings, typically these micro brands, they will accept the watch back as long as you did not wear it and whatnot. So don't be afraid of that just because of that. So that would be number 3. Number 4 is the durability of a watch. Now, because these are small companies, they don't really take the time to test this on the market. You, as the consumer, are the ones that are going to test it, and therefore they're going to fix it as problems come in, as opposed to a big company like a Seiko, a Bulova, a Citizen, whatever. They have actually tested the prototypes, and therefore when they bring it to market, you've already gotten a watch that is ready to go. So that's another chance that you're taking when buying into a micro brand. Okay, number 5 reason to avoid buying a micro brand watch would be the warranty. Because you're buying off a Kickstarter, or even a company that's been around for maybe a year or two, again, you don't have a good enough history to gauge whether or not this company has good customer service. But is this company even going to be around in the next few years? That's the question. So when it comes to these major brands, again, Seikos, the Bulovas, they've been around for so many years that you have confidence that they're going to be around tomorrow if something goes wrong with your watch. Now, God forbid, if something went wrong with one of your micro brand watches and it needed a specialized part and the company goes out of business tomorrow, you are stuck and you may have to get something customized, which is going to cost a boatload of money and may actually take you out of the price range of what the watch is really worth. So, and also with warranty, a lot of these micro brands typically offer 2-year warranties, and in some cases, some only offer a 1-year warranty, as compared to major brands that offer 3 to 5 years. So that's probably one of the biggest negatives, I would say, out of this 5, because, I mean, look, if something does go wrong, you want to have a good warranty period. So you definitely want something that's over 2 years typically, but you also want to make sure that there's a high likelihood that the company will be in business tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you guys a little bit of education on micro brands. Definitely stay tuned for part 2 of this video for my 5 reasons to buy a micro brand watch. So I want to thank everyone for joining me. Don't forget to smash that like button, and please remember that there's always time to be kind to one another. Oh, and by the way, I'm actually wearing a Microbrand watch today. This is the Mitch Mason, and this one is going to be reviewed very, very soon. So you would definitely want to stay tuned for that. But until then, there's always time to be kind to one another. Please take care of each other, and I'll see you guys next time on AvgJoeWatchReviews. God bless, my friends.